Wisconsin, famous for its cheese, beer, and football. And it's more than just a tailgater's dream. Badger State has rolling hills, thousands of beautiful lakes, and some big name universities. If you're from Wisconsin, you know it's a great state to call home, but not every city in America's Dairyland's a winner. So in order to determine where the bad places are in Wisconsin, you got to look at a lot of stuff, like where the poverty is the highest, where the crime is bad, and where the schools are bad, and where it's just outright ghetto. And those are the things we're going to measure. Plus, I looked at all the comments from the last video I did and took that into account too, because you people in Wisconsin, you know where the bad places are, right? So while the ice cream sundae was invented in Wisconsin, there's certainly nothing sweet about the places we're going to talk about. Let's get going, shall we? We begin our tour of the worst places to live in Wisconsin with a stop in New London, located in the east central part of the state and home to just under 7,000 people. New London's a popular destination for fishing, tubing, and camping. It seems like a great place to live if you like that small town feel, but it made our list for a reason. The economy here isn't too bad. The unemployment rate's just about 5%, and the town has an affordable cost of living. It's your typical small town in Wisconsin. There's lots of farms, land, trucks, and bars. The people here are generally very nice. However, the median income stands at about $48,000, and 13% of people are living below the poverty line. Additionally, the town falls short when it comes to housing and diversity. I mean, honestly, if this is the 10th worst place to live in Wisconsin, then that means Wisconsin's pretty awesome, I'll tell you that. We're taking a long drive north to reach number 9, Ashland, located at the top of the state on Lake Superior. About 8,000 people call Ashland home. The town has some charm, and summers here are beautiful. But the rest of the year is pretty miserable with brutally cold days and lake effect snow. Folks living way up here don't earn much and have trouble getting jobs. The median income is just $38,000. Nearly 5% of people are out of work, and 1 in 5 residents lives below the poverty line. Then there's the crime rate, sitting at 62% above the national average. Folks in Ashland have a 1 in 27 chance of having their stuff stolen or burned each year. The city also had 21 aggravated assaults over the course of the last year, which seems pretty high for such a small place. People living here complain that drugs are a growing issue. There's nowhere to shop except Walmart, and the local businesses have a hard time surviving. That's not fun. But at least the public schools here are decent. The student-to-teacher ratio and amount spent per student are bright spots, and the graduation rate's above the state average. So maybe there's hope for the next generation up here, or maybe people will just pack up and leave, like a lot of other people did. At number 8, we travel to the southeastern part of the state to find Brown Deer, a suburb of Milwaukee. A lot of people probably haven't even heard of Brown Deer. About 12,000 people call this place home. Now, at first glance, Brown Deer seems like a great place to live. The location's ideal. You're located on Lake Michigan, and it's just a 15-minute drive to downtown. It's affordable, diverse. The unemployment rate's low, but it's not terrible. And they have some beautiful parks, but upon closer inspection, you don't want to plant roots here. That's because Brown Deer is the second most dangerous place in the state. The crime rate is way above the national average. People living here have a 1 in 26 chance of being the victim of a property crime every year they live here. Oh, and a car gets stolen here like every other week too. So make sure you lock your doors and padlock your picnic basket if you're spending a day at Brown Deer Park. The schools here are okay. They're not great. About half the kids get free or reduced lunch, and that's sad. But people rant and rave about the tight-knit community here, and that has to count for something, right? So it can't be terrible. And it's Wisconsin. Moving south, we come to Janesville in Rock County for the first time, and not the last time. Janesville is challenged in many ways, people, with poverty, drugs, and crime. A lot of folks say it's kind of a terrible place to live in a lot of Janesville. Much of Rock County should be avoided for families moving to the state. A lot of the fibs moving up here from Illinois are coming up here for the increase in welfare bennies, and Janesville is one of the places they land. Can you imagine that? Lowlifes moving up here from Illinois just to get more welfare money? Janesville is also more dangerous than all but 5% of the rest of the state, so there's that. Besides the crime levels, the schools here are lousy, and there's not much to do, but you can't blame them for that. I mean, it is Wisconsin, right? At number 6, Wisconsin Rapids, located in the middle of the state. 1 in 20 residents refuse to work here, people. Almost 1 in 5 live below the poverty line, and home values are among some of the worst in the state. For such a small town, Wisconsin Rapids has a major crime problem. The crime rate runs more than 32% above the national average, although it's more of a property crime. Folks living here have a 1 in 32 chance of having their stuff stolen every single year. There's also a growing opioid problem here, which is just how it is in these days in small town America, sadly. People can't put the pipes down for one day and get serious about themselves. People living here complain that the schools aren't great. There's not much to do. There's a lot of empty shops, and the paper mill in town smells awful. That sucks. Maybe it's all the meth they're making up here in Wisconsin Rapids. We're going to drive an hour and 15 minutes south to find number 5, Portage. The town's located at the split of the Wisconsin and Fox rivers, and it's home to just about 10,000 people. While the views of the river are nice, there's not much to love about living in Portage. The town has a sluggish economy. A bunch of people can't find jobs or have stopped trying. 1 in every 8 homes is near the poverty line, and the median income here is just above $45K. On top of that, there's a lack of diversity. There's concerns about housing and mediocre schools. People living here complain about all the vacant businesses. They say there's not much to do in the winter, and there's a growing drug problem here as well. But at least the town's trying. They've revitalized the downtown area, and they've cleaned up the Portage Canal, and they opened up a new bike path. Awesome, Portage. Keep trying. At number 4, we travel to the coast again to Racine, which is south of Milwaukee. Don't laugh, Kenosha. You're not much better. 77,000 people call Racine home, but there's a lot of people leaving this place. The first garbage disposal was manufactured here, and it seems fitting because this place is trash. Oh, snap. Racine was once called the most affordable place to live in the world, which is probably good because it's home to some of the laziest people in the state. Seriously, 1 in 16 people are without jobs, 1 in 5 are chronically on food stamps, and of course, home values are going to be some of the lowest around. The schools here aren't great either. They're lacking funding and there's no real hope in sight. And the student enrollment, which drives revenue, is going down. Like, seriously, they're losing about 500 kids in the near future here in Racine. You can't blame them for leaving. This place is pretty lousy. Hopefully, some of them will move back down to Illinois where they came from, but at least Racine High School students can still look forward to the mega prom every year. At number 3, Anago, a small farming and manufacturing community in north central Wisconsin. Just about 8,000 people call Anago home. The town is really a shell of its former self. These days, Anago is struggling with everything. This town has the worst unemployment rate in the state at 10%, which is super high for Wisconsin. 20% of folks here live in poverty, and unsurprisingly, Anago has the worst home values in Wisconsin, where you can get a house for about $87,000, but who would want to move out here these days? Sorry, just saying. On top of that, the crime rate here is double the national average. What the heck is going on in little Anago? Folks living here have a 1 in 22 chance of being the victim of a property crime every year they call Anago home. So lock your doors here, people. The public schools here aren't great. 12% of adults never finish high school. There's a growing drug problem in the community, and there aren't great restaurants here. At least that's what the hungry people here complain about. A perk? There's plenty to do outdoors, from hunting to fishing to swimming and snowmobiling. So there's that. But overall, one resident put it best: if you like fast food, Walmart, and meth, Anago is the place for you. At number 2, Milwaukee, the MLK, Milwaukee, the Mill. I'm sure you're like, what's worse than Milwaukee? The Brew City is home to nearly 600,000 people. It's the biggest city in Wisconsin, and with that comes the perks of big city life. You know, professional sports teams, museums, restaurants, and shops, as well as big city problems. Milwaukee's population peaked in 1960, and now it's down about 16%, although it seems like the population loss has stabilized. But they lost a lot of factory jobs, and a lot of trash from Chicago's moving in. Sure, there's lots of Milwaukee that's super cool, but there's a big part of town that's terrible. And there are parts of town that a lot of people might call a dump. There's quite a few large pockets of super bad and super poor, especially in the area near Northwest Side like Williamsburg Heights. Milwaukee starts to get really bad the further you get from downtown, until around Hampton Avenue. Sadly, this pocket's where most of the crime occurs, and it's most of the reason why Milwaukee gets such a bad rap. Nearly 7% of people living here can't find a job or aren't trying. 1 in 4 people is living in poverty, and the public schools and housing are also a concern. 17% of adults in Milwaukee never finished high school. 17% in a major city like Milwaukee? But the real problem is the crime. It's the most violent city in the state, and according to the FBI, it's number 6 in the country for dangerous big cities. Folks living here have a 1 in 75 chance of being the victim of a murder, rape, robbery, or assault over the course of 1 year. And while property crime isn't as bad as the violent crime, Milwaukee has the highest burglary rate in the state too, averaging about 10 a day. Now, people living here say while it's a diverse city, it's segregated and racial discrimination's an issue. As you would expect, drugs are also a huge problem here, and the public transportation's terrible, but a lot of people who ride the bus don't work, so it seems like they're trying here. Milwaukee's been cleaning up the bad areas and cracking down on crime, and unlike other Midwest cities which lost jobs, they've worked hard to diversify this economy. Apparently, there's a sense of optimism in the air here. Good. But it's not very optimistic in the worst place you can live in the state of Wisconsin. That would be, of course, Beloit, located an hour south of Madison, over here in Rock County again. About 37,000 people call Beloit home, but they probably wish they didn't. They call it Betroit for a reason. It's economically depressed and trashed. Lots of gunshots, lots of drug use, and more Illinois fibs up here collecting all those bennies. The unemployment rate here is through the roof. 1 in 10 people won't work, and 1 in 4 of them lives in poverty. That's because 1 out of every 6 kids here never finishes high school. Beloit has the 4th lowest home prices in the state, where you can get a house for $89,000. But as you can see, there's not much demand to live here. Then there's the crime. Beloit ranks in the top 10 statewide for both violent and property crime, but you probably knew that already. The city has the 6th highest murder rate in Wisconsin, and residents have a 1 in 240 chance of being violently attacked over the course of a year. 1 in 240 chance. Of course, you're going to want to watch your wallet when you're walking around the town's farmer market, because last year there were 921 larceny cases, 122 burglaries, and 71 stolen cars. What the hell? People living here say Beloit has terrible drivers, the town's dirty, there's not much to do, and of course, drugs are everywhere. But Beloit has won awards for its downtown Main Street, so maybe that's worth a stroll. Just watch your back, I guess. So there you have it. The worst cities live in Wisconsin. These are all places in the state where crime is super high, people are broke, the schools are kind of bad, and where drugs are out of control. Now, if you're looking for some of the best places to live in the Badger State, it's going to be places like Fox Point, Whitefish Bay, Elm Grove, Cedarburg, many of the Milwaukee suburbs, which are all winning at the things that really matter: cost of living, safety, education, and jobs. So if you value those things, move to one of those places, not in the ones we talked about earlier. And if you already live in one of the best places, grab yourself a brick of cheese and a beer and celebrate out on the lake, because you're Wisconsin gold, I tell ya. Gold. Cheese and cows and bratwurst, funny accents, blizzards. Cheese and cows and bratwurst, funny accents, blizzards. Beer and brats and pretzels, Packers fans and dumb hats. Beer and brats and pretzels, Packers fans and dumb hats. Move to Wisconsin and you'll hate it. There's a lot of boring stuff, not a lot of fun. Move to Wisconsin and you'll hate it. There's a lot of boring stuff, not a lot of fun. Their quarterback has a funny mustache. There's a lot of Brewers fans too. People here wear tiny shorts, and they have a lot of pretty lakes, and it's cold. Everybody here ice fishes. If you want to come, then you better not forget your pole. Everybody here ice fishes. If you want to come, then you better not forget your pole. Everybody here ice fishes. If you want to come, then you better not forget your pole. Everybody here ice fishes. If you want to come, then you better not forget your pole. Bam! Bam! Wisconsin! Bam! Wisconsin! Bam! Hey guys, so if anything I just talked about upset you or made you sad or mad, well then do something about it. Call your local leaders and demand change. Chip in and help those in need. Make your community better, because communities don't get better without hard work and determination. America's a great place. It just needs some more love and pride.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.
And are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right, someone's a realtor now. Who wants to deal with a realtor they don't know when you can have me help you, right?